Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am here on my Dino a Day review series. We are on to the Purlovia. Now this guy right here is a pretty unique tame in all honesty. He's got two special abilities. One, it's got the ability to burrow, and two, it's got a really unique defensive capability. Now, before we start this, I'm going to go ahead and do a little plug here. If you haven't subscribed and liked the channel already, it'd be awesome if you don't mind doing that. It really does help out, and I do appreciate all of you that are watching it that have already. So anyways, hopefully it helps you out. And let's go ahead and continue here. So the Purlovia, I have two of them right here. You can see that there is one in the ground and one out of the ground. This one over here is our burrower. We're going to go ahead and set him as his special ability. Now the burrower, what you want to do, if you want to hide all of your loot, and no one's going to be able to touch it unless they basically put a C4 on this thing's head, he'll stay under the ground. Passive. And after you put him on passive, because we don't really care about anything other than weight, we just crank weight in this guy. And basically he can store a load of stuff underneath the ground. You can get him easily to 2,000 or 3,000 weight, and he'll carry a bunch of stuff for you under the ground. Very similar to a basilisk. If you are not in somebody's tribe, you will not be able to see this. You have to be in the tribe in order to actually see this Purlovia. Pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and change to ignore group whistles. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make on these. Because if you don't change them to ignore group whistles and someone accidentally whistles neutral or aggressive, they just fly out of the ground. Now, using that tactic, the Purlovia can get some really nasty stats on it. You can easily hit 10k health, and you can easily hit a load of melee damage on these things. And what people have a tendency to do is they have a tendency to set these things as like little guard dog traps. So right outside or inside your base, what you do, you can bury it. You don't have to bury it. And you go ahead and set it on just neutral or something. You can use aggressive if you really want to. I'm going to use neutral for the purpose of this video. And I'm going to go ahead and find something that wants to attack me. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. Literally nothing. Okay, cool. But when it's under the ground, it'll pounce on whatever you ask it to. And I'll go ahead and whistle follow on it. And we'll whistle it neutral. And we'll go find something so you can see how pretty unique this tame's ability is. Come on, follow me, buddy. There he goes. So the Purlovia is very commonly used by larger tribes. You just load him into the ground and it'll knock people off their mounts. It'll do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's got some pretty high melee on it. So if you knock them off their mounts and give yourself a little bit of time, you've got a pretty crazy tame. So I'm going to go ahead and bury this thing. I'm going to go ahead and whistle unfollow. We're going to go ahead and you can see that there's a bunch of different options here. You can change the targeting range to high, and it'll basically allow him to attack whatever he needs to. We're going to go ahead and get a dire wolf to follow us. Yes, it's pissed off. We're going to find our Purlovia, and I'm going to go ahead and turn GCM off for a second here so I can actually see this thing attack. And he's just, gonna not join us. What a turd. Behavior, let's turn him to aggressive. Nothing? Nothing, buddy? You're not gonna come out of the ground at all? Turd. There we go. So, you can see that when they do pop out of the ground, they get pretty aggressive. But if you leave them on aggressive, what they'll do, I know that doesn't show it right now because I don't really know why. But basically they will jump at whatever is nearby and shoot them off their mount if they get them on a line of sight. Not always the case, because sometimes they obviously do what you just saw right there and don't actually work, but a lot of the time they will. I have been knocked off my my tames many a time by Purlovia, and it's been incredibly frustrating. But because they do have a very high damage, it's also quite easy to... Why isn't he not following me here? There we go. But because they have such a high damage, they'll knock you off and stun you for 5 or 6 seconds, and they'll just sit and shred your armor or kill you if they're nearby. Notice how that Purlovia is now super pissed, and he's going to go after this moth, Lymantria. They have a ton of damage, so they can do that. So anyways, Pretty awesome little thing. They can serve as an underground vault for you, or you can set them as like a little trap system. So hopefully this video helps you out, and other than that, teach out.